What's up, everybody? It's been a minute, but Duval against y'all, we back. So today, the eve before the 2023-2024 Jaguars opening training camp, I'm gonna give y'all a little preview of training camp, some stuff we need to be on the watch for, some players who have some to prove, and I'll touch on a few guys who I think are in danger of being cut out of training camp or have to have a good preseason to continue. But before we get started, of course, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you'll always notice when I'll go live or drop a new video on both YouTube, and then of course you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the that's in the corner here. But let's get started. So obviously, last season didn't end the way that we wanted or the way we liked. With us missing the playoffs, not winning our division. Houston came up behind us and won it. Some of the pain's finally gone because new season's about almost here, and I feel like we're going to show that was a fluke year. The defense basically broke down the end, and Trevor, after could only hold on so long, and then all of his injuries kind of derailed us. But with training camp here, so some of the things, the biggest camp battle, I believe, will be within the secondary. Of our four secondary players, or the four main starters, not counting Nichols, two of the positions are up for anyone to come take. Everyone that I assume, barring still issues from his injury last year, Tyson Campbell's going to start at one corner. This is his contract year with a new defense, who I'm not sure how good he fits in this defense, because with the man-to-man and his issues was always more man-to-man, was finding the ball. So we'll see how that goes. I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll be back to like he was his sophomore year. And one of the top corners in the league. I think last year was kind of some fluke injuries, but we'll see. And then at one safety, obviously, will be Andre Cisco. I honestly believe he's our best secondary player overall. He is the best playmaker. Now, if you want to say run fits and all that, then give it to Tyson. But so the other two positions and the nickel role to some extent are wide open. We signed Darnell Savage to play safety. We also have Antonio Johnson, who is the reason why we cut Rashad Jenkins last year at the end of the year. He's out playing. Both of them can play nickel. Both of them can play safety. We've said before that, or Doug Pearson said that beginning of the year that it was going to be more Savage was fourth nickel. So if that stays the same, then it's probably going to be Savage and nickel, and then Johnson at the other safety. But during camp battles, this can change. It may get flipped. One of the rookies, like Jaron Jones from Florida State, may take the nickel role, and then it's just going to be flipped. But that rolls up. I personally think Antonio Johnson should be Antonio Johnson at safety, and then Savage at nickel, which they can rotate, but I feel like starting should be them, just because I feel like they're both playmakers. That way we have two big playmakers in Cisco and Johnson back there, and can help cover up everyone else if the other corners help them out a little better. And then the other boundary corner, it looks like it's most likely will be Ronald Darby, who we signed in free agency. But Jar Jones is, again, he's the name I would be really paying attention to this offseason or during training camp. He's a baller. He fits more as nickel, but he can play boundary if need be. So I think Darby could have a run if he has a slow start, but we'll see. That's going to be a great competition. Especially with the way everyone in the AFC South is loading up on receivers. We're going to need at least three, probably four guys at this rate that are elite, but see how that goes. Some of the guys who probably got great playing time last year may not play or maybe even make the team. There's going to be a lot of fighting for competition down near the bottom behind Darby and Jones, like Eric Halleck or Buster Brown last year, who played good last year, in relief of Tyson Campbell. But that's still every year. It's a new year. You still got to prove yourself, especially as a lower draft pick. But I think they're up for the challenge. But so I'm excited to watch that. Another group that has some competition, but it's very more important. It's important to watch them to see how they look is going to be the offensive line. Most likely the offensive line is going to be starting at left tackle, Cam Robinson. Then it's going to be Ezra Cleveland, then Mitch Morse, then Brandon Sheriff, then Anton Harrison. There might be some competition between Robinson and Walter Little. It's very debatable now. I was always on the Walter Little train because I felt like he's a better pass rusher or pass blocker, and dealt with the speed rushers better. However, he's kind of part of the reason why why Trevor got hurt, and how getting pushed back on that, and Trevor getting stepped on Trevor. He doesn't do good against power rushers, but he's great against speed guys. And with Cam Robinson's injury history and the suspensions and everything, so we'll see how that goes. The biggest thing that was replaced, obviously, was Mitch Morse, signing him from the Buffalo Bills as a replacement for Luke Fortner. Luke Fortner is a slightly better pass blocker, but he's a way worse run blocker, so that should even out or get us or help a running game a lot more. I feel like all of us watched it last year could see that every time we try to run up the middle, it was getting blown up quickly. Even with Sheriff having a decent year, so I feel like having Mitch will help Sheriff as well, because that means Sheriff's not having to cheat to help Fortner like years last year. And then Anton Harrison, I feel like he's extending still. He was a really, especially near the end of the year, he became a really good right tackle. So hopefully that fixes that. It gives Trevor more time, but also Trevor, just speaking on Trevor, he has to learn sometimes to take the little shot. Don't go for the deep shot every time. That led to some of his injuries and some of the sacks he took last year, as he was holding on to the ball too long. Part of it, I feel like he was trying to feed Calvin Ridley, but with Calvin Ridley gone and going to the Tennessee Titans, and then Brian Thomas replacing him will help a lot. I feel like just because going in, Thomas probably, I want him to have the mentality of he's that guy. At least for the first few months, it's going to be Kirk again. Kirk's the number one. Kirk was the number one last year. Yeah, even though he didn't lead the team in yards due to his injury. Calvin really didn't even get going until after Kirk went down. He became featured a lot more. So that's going to have a huge change. Zay Jones is going to have a huge change with getting replaced by Gabe Davis, who's a younger player that does a lot of the similar stuff. He's probably a better run blocker. Then Zay Jones, I know a lot of people are saying, how can Gabe Davis not do it as much with Josh Allen, who's better than Trevor, a quarterback? But everyone seems to forget Josh Allen didn't do anything until Diggs got there. He wasn't making anyone better. He wasn't. A lot of people thought he was a bust. He was going to bust until Stephon Diggs got there. And Stephon Diggs demanded so many targets, there wasn't as much. Offense is Jacksonville's a little spread out a little more. So I feel like that's going to help Gabe Davis. I don't think he's going to put up, he won't be a 1,500-yard receiver, but he'll be a solid number 2 guy. Borderline 2, more likely 3, because I feel like these 2 guys behind me are going to be the 1 and 2, and that's Kirk and Ingram. Ingram, I think, is just going to pick right back up where he's been for the tight end group. Brenton Strange may play a little bit more, but again, he didn't play as much last year. And that's really all we've really added for the tight end, or the tight end group's basically in the same group. Him and Luke Farrell's probably going to be the same like last year. They're going to be 2 and 3, alternating who's 2 and 3 behind, obviously, Evan Ingram. But we'll see how that goes. I don't think anyone is going to upset Ingram, the line. The receivers are basically locked in. The only thing, like I said, would be Thomas or Gabe Davis who starts on the outside. Most likely it's going to be Davis, and you could have Kirk in the slot, but we'll see how that goes. We're obviously, I feel like we're going to take a lot more deep shots because with having 2 speed guys out the outside as opposed to just Zay Jones. So that's always good. The running back group, obviously we said again that we don't want ETN to feed him as much, like give him all the carries, but then we lost faith in Tank Bigsby last year as a coach, as a team, and as coaching staff, I feel. And then as the season around, Deontay Johnson was getting Dearness Johnson was getting more as a passing back as opposed to run the ball. Again, with offensive line issues, so that should get fixed. The only other running back that's probably going to make plays is our Rick Robinson out of Texas, but he's probably going to be more as kick returner with Devin Duvernay, the other receiver we signed free agency. So that's going to fix all that. Especially with these real news, I know a lot of us are kind of upset that Agnew left, but Agnew had too many fumbles that hurt us. He got hurt, and we got better and cheaper. That's just the way the league works. It sucks, but that's just how it goes. I think the only other major positional battle that's going to happen is be kicker. We brought back Riley Patterson, who won us the playoff game 2 years ago now. But then we also drafted Cam Little out of Arkansas. He's probably going to be the favorite because he has better leg, more than Riley was. That's Riley, one of the reasons why Riley Patterson left or why we let him go was because he didn't have the leg strength to get it all the way down on kickoffs and then all the way then for 50 plus odd field goals. Little has that. McMahon's had it for a little bit, then lost his confidence. And then luckily, with all this stuff that's coming out about him on the 2-team plane, I'm glad he's no longer here because some of those actions were unacceptable. And that's not something we want as Jaguars fans. But that's always good. So that's a big battle to watch. Little, again, like I said, he's probably the favorite, but we'll see how that ends up. Another major change would be how the defense set up. Looks like with hiring of Ryan Nielsen that we're going to switch to more to a 4-3 as opposed to 3-4 that ran in the years past. Hopefully that means less plays where both our best 2 pass rushers are in coverage. Occasionally having one play just as a trick, but there was too much last year of Josh Allen and Walker in coverage, and we had no one else who could get the pass rush. So the quarterback had all day back there. I feel like that's going to get changed. It's going to be better for Trayvon Walker because we saw what Trayvon Walker can do with his hand. When his hand's in the dirt, he is better. And with signing Irk Armstead, that's another guy in the middle that can help us on the pass rushing aspect. With him, Josh Allen, and Trayvon Walker, that's a decent enough pass rush. I still think we should go out and get a third edge rusher because right now it's Gibson and Yasir Abdullah, who didn't play last year due to the teams playing Chason over him, and Dewan Smoot, which Smoot was coming off his injury, and Chason just isn't that great. At least wasn't for us. Maybe he finds himself in Carolina, but for us, he wasn't that good of a pass rusher. So hopefully that's going to be better. I feel like we've seen what Josh Allen can do in both. He's been a Pro Bowler in 4-3 and 3-4, so that's going to be fine. I hope with signing his new contract, he should be able to keep it going, keep it running. He's not one of the types I think that I was just like, oh, I got my money, I'm good. I think he's going to continue to prove he wants to be one of the best Jags ever. He's 10 sacks away, if I remember correctly, from breaking this Jaguars sack record. So he should be able to get that this year. You already got the season one, and you got the rookie one. So if you get the career, it's probably going to be hard to say he's not going to be the best pass rusher we've ever had at Jacksonville. Which is good and bad. That's great to see it, but also is like that's just the state of our pass rushers over the years. Right now it's Tony Bracken's is probably one, and is one, and then we're probably into Calais or Ngakwe and all that. So that sounds better, is on track to be better than all of them, which is great. Trayvon Walker, like I mentioned before, he's better with his hands in dirt, so this should help him a lot. He should be able to build on what he did last year, getting double-digit sacks. He's probably not going to be the best player out of the draft as you want as the number 1 overall pick, but his entire thing of why we drafted him, the risk was the risk versus reward. His ceiling was higher than everyone else's, but his floor was also lower. I feel like he'll probably be in the middle. With like because Hutchinson as of right now, who's 2, is looking better. I'm not a huge fan of Hutchinson. I feel like a lot of his sacks are inflated due to like coverage sacks, or he gets the cleanup sack. But we'll see on that. That's a discussion for another time. But with Eric Armstead, that's going to help him a lot because that means they can't double team anybody anymore. If you double Josh Allen, Armstead, and or Walker's probably going to have to be on one-on-one, and that's not good. They're both of them can get our game records, so that should help our D a lot. Just a touch on the linebackers, with Foye and get Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd really got a lot better his second year. That's good. Foye is going to be consistent. He's going to be the tackling machine that he is. It's great. So that's going to be good. And hopefully with Armstead in front of him, he won't have to make some of the missed tackles that he had last year. So that's going to help us a lot. But neither of them are in any danger of losing their starting positions. The only person I feel like on the front 7 would be who starts who takes the other spot behind Armstead and I like the DT spot, and that would probably going to be Devon Hamilton just because due to his contract. But again, we also have War Robinson Harris who can do it, so I think it's probably just going to be like a matter of game fits. So we'll see how that works. But which we all were really upset and disappointed about Hamilton's injury. He was not the guy we thought we were going to get last year. Hopefully he's fully recovered in that and he can show what he's capable of. But it's time. We have the squad. This is probably, if we don't do it this year, barring something major happening, like everybody getting hurt, it's probably going to put Doug on hot seat because Khan's not happy. He was mad about last year. He said that was unacceptable. We're better than that, and I think that's the general consensus is we are all better than that. Something we should be able to do. We got to show the world that that wasn't a 1-year fluke. This is different. The AFC South is going to be a lot tougher, but we got to show them that this isn't an easy cakewalk. This isn't the same old Jags. We're going to run this team, so we got to show this. And it all starts in training camp. So let's see. This is the So with that, that's basically everybody. I've kind of touched on all the major positions. Because we're not changing punters and we're not going to change long snappers. I don't think there's even competition for either of them. Our long snappers, a Pro Bowler. Logan Cook, the punter, is one of the best punters in the league. So there's no reason really for them to bring in any competition for that. But like I said, so basically to do a quick recap of what I just said in this video, the offense. This is going to be. The defense needs to step up. The offensive flex is going to be fine, Trevor. It's going to be on Coach Nielsen and this Josh Allen, Walker, and Foye, and Cisco, and Campbell. Just show up. This is what we got to do. I think we can go at least. Only better than 10-7. I'm going to go 11-6. We can do it. We start out brutal, but after watching some training camp, we'll be able to see exactly where we're at as a squad. But we'll see how it goes. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Blindside on another episode of Duval Against Y'all. Peace.